71% chance to hold on to that top spot. But remember, the Giants do own the tiebreaker should both teams finish the season with the same record. The three teams vying for that top seed in the NFC East are all projected to lose this weekend, according to ESPN's Football Power Index. The Browns have a 58% chance to beat the Giants. Seattle has a 61% chance to beat Washington, and the Cardinals are the biggest favorites with a 78% chance to defeat Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. All right, let's get right into the first one, the Battle of the Birds, Ryan. With none of these teams favored by Football Power Index, can Jalen Hurts pull off another upset in this game?
You know, he can pull off another upset. I'm not saying that he necessarily will, though. But the one thing I've learned about Jalen Hurts, and Marcus can speak to this a little bit better than me, is dude knows who he is, right? Like, Jalen Hurts is not a person that's searching for identity. He's not going through an identity crisis. He knows what he does well and what he can bring to a team. When you look at what he was last week, he was decisive. When pressured, when blitzed, when he had to make quick decisions, he was able to do that, whether that was getting the ball out of his hands or using his legs to run. So Jalen Hurts won't be the issue in this game. He'll do exactly what Doug Peterson asked him. He will run this offense as a Jalen Hurts offense, not as a Carson Wentz offense, and that will put this team in position to win. I think it's going to be some of the other positions, some of the other places where the Arizona Cardinals have an advantage over the Philadelphia Eagles, but I expect Jalen Hurts to stay the course and do exactly what he did last week, which is make the right decisions, make the right plays, and put his team in the best position to win a football game.
Yeah, RC, I'm right there with you, man. And the one thing I think about is similar to what we talked about with Taysom Hill when he first started, making a point of how difficult it is to defend quarterbacks when they first playing, especially when from an athletic standpoint. And I believe Jalen benefited a little bit from that playing against the New Orleans Saints. Now, can you do it again? That's the question. Can you do it with a sample size of game tape? Can you do it when teams understand what type of offense Doug Peterson may try to deploy using your athleticism? And look, the Cardinals have made some plays defensively this year that have been eyebrow raising, and then they've given up some things that make you scratch your head and say, I wonder what's going on there. But when you look at it in totality, this should be a more difficult week for Jalen Hurts because a team understands how they'll be attacked. But with that being said, I lean on a lot of what RC said. Jalen Hurts is going to play well. That's what he does. Like, he's not going to make many mistakes. Yep. That's not a part of his football IQ and how he processes and goes forward in the game. So I'm interested to see, can he duplicate some of the success that he had last week, bring it into this week?
You know, Mina, Jalen was the headline last Sunday for the Eagles, but their defense also played really well against New Orleans. How does the Eagles defense match up against Kyler Murray in this Cardinals maybe possibly potent offensive attack? I'm not quite sure after the past month or so.
Well, Phil, the Eagles have what I like to call a mullet defense. Business in the front, party for wide receivers in the back. Now, the Saints weren't able to take advantage of that.
Where the money resides.
They sold out up front, and they stopped the run, and they got a lot of pressure. And what we've seen from Arizona is that if you can make that offense one-dimensional and take away the run, at times they do struggle. Kyler Murray does have difficulty getting the ball going to anyone other than DeAndre Hopkins. So I believe the success for Arizona resides in his ability to beat Philadelphia through the air. Can't just be Hopkins. They need to get other wide receivers involved because this Eagles front is very talented.
Yeah, it certainly is. It'll be a great matchup up front for Philadelphia, who's looking to kind of find a way to stay in it in this NFC East. And as we move forward to our next game here involving an NFC East team, the Seahawks go across the country to play Washington, and we know that it will not be Alex Smith under center. He has been officially ruled out for this game due to a calf injury sustained last week. The team will also most likely be without Antonio Gibson. He's doubtful to play because of a toe injury. But the story here, Marcus, and that is huge, but the story really is about Alex Smith. It's going to be Dwayne Haskins stepping back in as the starter, Marcus. Does it matter, though, who starts at quarterback for the Washington football team?
Phil, in the grand scheme of things, no. I thought they would lose this game anyway. And we could point to how well this defense is playing and what they're doing up front. Everybody's excited about it. Nobody as excited as I am. But when you look at Alex Smith just wasn't going to make a lot of mistakes but not making a lot of mistakes doesn't mean you can match what Russell Wilson and this offense can do from their standpoint once they have that number of opportunities to go downfield. Haskins, the only problem is you're worried about turnovers. You're worried about extra possessions for Russell Wilson and this offense and DK and all of these guys that they deploy. So, no, it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, but if you were thinking that this game could be muddied up, if you were thinking that it could be off script and off schedule, if you were thinking that it could be a reincarnation of Colt McCoy and the New York Giants just messing stuff up, staying steady, and making this game feel like you playing it in slush and everybody's running slow, that's what Alex Smith would have offered. Now you have to worry about this game becoming a fast track meet for the Seattle Seahawks and their offense against a Dwayne Haskins-led Washington football team that may turn the ball over and give this offense more opportunities.
Yes, Marcus is absolutely right, and it's a Seattle defense that has been playing better lately, admittedly against, not very good offenses, but it's a challenge for Haskins. The strength-on-strength matchup is, of course, on the other side of the football, Seattle's offense against Washington's defense, and it's a difficult one for Seattle. That front is better than Seattle's offensive line, and we have seen Russell Wilson struggle against talented defensive lines so far this season, holding on to the football too long, waiting for DK Metcalf to get open deep. In my mind, if Seattle wants to win this, it's not going to be a walk in the park. They need to get a quick game going. They're going to need to run the football. Marcus, I said it. They're going to need to run the football.
Yes.
It can't just be all DK in this one because Washington is so talented.
No, right. This won't be. This ain't gonna be no walk in the park, and you might be a little excited if you get Dwayne Haskins if you're the Seattle Seahawks because you're hoping for those mistakes. You're hoping for some of those errant throws because staring in the face of Montez Sweat and Chase Young and Payne on the other side, like these boys come after you and they're difficult to run on. This will be the best unit on the field all day. Period, will be the defensive line of the Washington football team. And so in dealing with them, you have to have the correct game plan. And, Marcus talked a little bit about the slush and the game being slow. And obviously Mina brought up the run game. That's what's important. The Seattle Seahawks are going to have to get out of the Mr. Unlimited mindset, which I think they are out of, right? He's not in that MVP caliber level anymore. And understand that we're going to have to get physical. We're going to have to strap the pads up, make them real tight, hit both of those joints on our helmets, and bloody some noses. That's the way this game is going to be won. The Seattle Seahawks, because they have Pete Carroll, they're far beyond trying to win by cool points now, right? Now it's about keeping pace and trying to win the NFC West. And this game is going to be won with physicality and playing smart football, hoping that the other team turns the ball over. And that's what we'll see from the Seattle Seahawks.
Well, as Mina knows from her many years of fandom in Seattle, it's going to be a close game because it always is with the Seahawks. The Browns and the Giants, who are also an NFC East contender, also factor into the playoff race. And Sunday Night Football? How about that? Sunday Night Football with the Browns and Giants playing. Ryan, what are you watching for this one?
You know what I'm watching? I'm watching Baker Mayfield. I think Baker Mayfield has a unique combination of dog in him. And not the type of dog when we think about somebody like Stephon Diggs who just got that grimy, I'm finna eat all these cornerbacks face. No, the type of dog that Baker Mayfield wants to both be the alpha dog and the underdog at the very same time, right? He wants to be the big man on the field. He wants to be the dude that's balling, but he wants to be hitting and he wants to be counted out. That's who he is right now, and I expect him to play a great game this week against the Giants.
I also expect Jarvis Landry and company, the rest of the wide receivers, to do well in this game. The Giants defense has been very good this season, but they're missing their best cornerback, James Bradbury, arguably one of the best free agent signings of 2020. That is huge for New York, and it's going to be a big challenge for defensive coordinator Patrick Graham.
Yo, coming off what Ryan just said, which had me hype, if you're looking for another line of scrimmage battle, this is one. Big Leonard Williams up there, Dexter Lawrence, the physicality in which Cleveland wants to run the football. They going against a big physical front seven from the New York Giants as well, and a team that's really coached to play in a box, in an alley. So I can't wait to see this matchup and see if the Browns can get the run game going.
Yeah, and the Browns will be without their standout guard, Wyatt Teller. The Giants, by the way, might be without their starting quarterback, as Daniel Jones is truly 50-50 to play in this game. It's not just that hamstring injury that cost him a game a couple of weeks ago. He's also now dealing with an ankle issue. So both legs impacted right now for Daniel Jones.
You do not want a statue Daniel Jones.
That's right. You could see Colt McCoy on Sunday night against his former team.